process. But it's going to be a process that's going to involve about 8,000 people. So it's probably going to be the most massive undertaking that the organization would have gone through in its years of existence all at a go. But the whole idea is that by the time we finish, head office is going to be very, very thinly populated. Most people will find homes really in the subsidiaries, and the deliverables and subsidiaries are going to be very specific. It's pure black bottom line, pure efficiency. We probably will not deal with staff efficiency yet at that stage for the first 6 months, but we're going to deal with work distribution, which everybody is important.
Presenting a paper of the transformation journey of the NNPC titled "Stop the Bleeding, Shine the Light," accelerating NNPC's restructuring, General Manager Transformation, Mr. Yemi Adetunji, said the restructuring would urgently address challenges confronting all the strategic business units and corporate service units of the corporation. Mr. Adetunji highlighted that the process would lead to renegotiation of existing contracts, including production sharing contracts, strengthen subsidy management, boost pipeline security, and enhance transparency and accountability.
January 2016, we are seeing a different NNPC. Some things may take a bit longer, but by and large, many things will have been achieved by end of 2015. That's why we have this war room to ensure that on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a minute-by-minute basis, we are monitoring what's going on, and we are reacting to that.
Speaking in similar vein, the Acting Group General Manager, Information and Technology Division and SAP, Mr. Danladi Inua, informed that information technology will play a critical role in the transformation journey of the corporation.
We should conclude the audit, we should be able to conclude the review of the transactional data and also the master data. These are the key issues that are in the system. So when that is done, then we can activate this. Because once this is activated, of course, we can be able to control the budget, and you cannot be able to spend out of the manual process that has been done now. So we can say first
yes. On his part, the General Manager Information System Department, Mr. Muhammad Usman, speaks more on the role of ISD in the process.
From anywhere within the corporate headquarters or from any location, you can just call into any of those operational locations, discuss with the people on the ground, and then have a complete status report, picture of what is going on. If there are challenges, the experts that within the various locations can offer advice, and then things come up. Okay. So yes, it's gotten across the entire corporation.
Throwing more light on the transformation journey in the NNPC retail, the Managing Director, Mr. Ladipo Fagbola, said NNPC Retail is poised to expand its operations across all the 774 local government areas of the country. Mr. Fagbola speaks on efforts to rebrand NNPC Retail.
We are fully prepared because NNPC Retail is the face of NNPC to the customers directly. So we are prepared, we are ready to change our reputation, we are ready to improve our brand, we're ready to go out into the marketplace and do what others are doing and compete with our competitors successfully.
The corporation is currently executing 20 Fixes projects which identified 20 critical issues that need to be addressed in order to reposition the 37-year-old National Oil Corporation on the track of efficiency and profitability. The target includes reduction in audit cost, restructure corporate center and staffing, renegotiate existing contracts, including PSCs, streamline subsidy management, boost pipeline security, enhance transparency and accountability, achieving zero tolerance for corruption, rebrand NNPC and unbundled PPMC. Other initiatives include unbundling of the Nigerian Gas Company, reduce contracting cycle, restructure refineries, improve information technology to drive business, embed staff and business performance management, restructure JV funding and reduce cash call, improve retail profitability, deploy and attract focused investment, rekit NPDC, expand crude marketing, and generate power profitability.
So we are looking to build a company, hopefully in 2016, and begin to inch upwards in terms of reducing its deficit position and getting to a profitability index. If we do that in 2016, it will be a major milestone. It will not have been achieved in 10 years. It will be fantastic. A lot is going to happen in 2016. A lot is expected of us. I ask you
to guide your loins and get ready. We're on for a bumpy ride. It's going to be very exciting.
What is this? This is oil well. Oil well? And this is what the Ghanaians called black gold. There is plenty money in this business. By this time tomorrow, I'm going to buy a brand new jeep. Jeep? Next month, I'm going to buy a whole house. House? Yes. You need to show me the way. Show us the way. You mean you want to be rich? Oh, yes. You want to level up? Oh, yes. You see, the ones there, let's go and pack it. And after that, I will take you there. Let's go. Hello? Okay. So, sir, these people have started their operation again. I beg, send me 5 battalion FG guys. Thank you, sir. So, sir, you can buy everything you want to buy. I will buy it. Sure. You are under arrest. Your hand on your head. If you move, I move you. Let me warn you all. Anybody or community that is involved in vandalization of our oil pipeline will face the wrath of the law.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
That's been the package of Oil and Gas Forum for this week. We'd like to remind Nigerians that PMS is selling for 86 Naira in NNPC stations and 86 Naira 50 kobo at other stations across the nation. We hope you're being served. Join us again next week to serve you another fresh edition of Oil and Gas Forum. Thanks for joining us. Bye now.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
The finals of the Men and Women African Cup of Nations. It's always frenetic. On days such as this, there are no tribes, no religion. Here, Nigerian warriors are out to represent, to show the skills that makes us the best. On days like this, the color is one. The color is green. When we get the job done, it is because we have stuck together. When we celebrate, we stand together. Nigerians, united in victory. We are Nigerians. We are one.
The Nigerian Armed Forces has been there, is there, and will be there for country and citizens. Nigerians, arise now in support and encouragement for our armed forces. Honor our veterans. Remember our fallen heroes, even as we help to take care of those they have left behind. Nigerian Armed Forces Remembrance Day 2016. Date Friday, 8 January. Jum'at service. Venue National Mosque Abuja. Time 1 p.m. Sunday, 10 January 2016. Interdenominational church service. Venue National 15 January. Time 8:30 a.m. Special guest of honor Muhammadu Buhari.
NTA International News.
President Buhari arrives Cotonou for 11th Summit of Heads of State and Government of Niger Basin Authority. Special prayers for timely defeat of insurgency in Nigeria as Armed Forces Remembrance Day continues activities. Voice of Nigeria begins distribution of transistor radio sets to internally displaced persons in Nigeria. Plus, Nigeria to spend $300 million on youth agriculture scheme. Hello there, so good to have you join us on NTA International News. I am Oku Ekpayong. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Cotonou, the Republic of Benin, for the 11th summit of the heads of state and government of the Niger Basin Authority. The president, who arrived Cotonou International Airport at about 2:30 Friday afternoon, was received by a high-powered government delegation led by the Prime Minister of the Republic, Mr. Lionel Zinsou. Also at the airport to receive him included to Benin, Lawrence Obishaki, the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, and the Minister of State Foreign Affairs, as well as members of the Nigerian community in neighboring West African country. Correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the 9 heads of member countries of the Niger Basin Authority are attending the summit, during which a new Secretary General of the organization is expected to be appointed. Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu speaks on Nigeria's expectations at the summit.
For everybody, and you know, at the extreme downstream end of the River Niger. But in spite of that, we also have the largest investment along the River Niger in terms of population, in terms of land, and in terms of even infrastructure. If you look at Kainji, Shiroro, Jeba, they are all either on the River Niger or the tributaries of the Niger. So we have a lot at stake. Being member of the provides an opportunity to even monitor the activities going on along the entire basin, so that if there is anything that will have adverse effect on us at the downstream end, we can quickly address it along with the other member countries.
Our President Muhammadu Buhari, has deemed it very important for him to come here today. It means it's very important. People say that when you see the big rat jumping out in the afternoon, it means if nothing is pursuing it, it must be pursuing something. Our president doesn't leave Nigeria for fun, so I believe some good things have been designed for us through River Niger.
Now, back home in Nigeria, this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration continued Friday with a special Jumat prayer held at the National Mosque, Abuja. Correspondent Muhammad Abdul Kadri reports.
The Deputy Imam, National Mosque, Kabir Muhammad, said remembering the deceased and praying for them regularly is part of the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. He said those who laid down their lives for peace the nation enjoys deserved to be remembered. The Imam recited special khutbah and prayed for of the civil wars and the fight against terrorism in the country. Imam Muhammad had earlier led the congregation for the 2 obligatory rakats. Dignitaries, including the Senate President and Minister of Defense, described the khutbah as thought-provoking.
We must continue to do this, not only to motivate those, also their families that are left behind. Particularly at this particular time where we have our men fighting the insurgents, so further motivate them, to let them know that all parts of the country will recognize their contribution to this great country.
Introducing the debt insurance for the debt, which has not been done before. So it's additional package by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
This year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration is the first under the present administration, and prayer was offered for the country to have victory over the insurgents. From the National Mosque, Abuja, Muhammad Abdul Kadri, NTA News.
Now, meanwhile, the United States government has handed over 24 marine-resistant armor-protected vehicles to the Nigerian Army to boost the war against insurgency. The handover ceremony took place at the military cantonment Ikeja, Lagos.
maximum carriage capacity of each vehicle is 5 persons and can conveniently carry anti-air missiles as well as M15 caliber machine guns. The vehicles can withstand attacks from improvised explosive devices, dynamites and bombs. It also has the capacity to resist deflation, thereby eliminating unforeseen stress caused by deflated tires. The U.S. Defense Attaché to Nigeria, Colonel Patrick Doyle, said the equipment is in line with the United States' resolve to combat insurgency in Nigeria.
As part of the continuing support from the United States to the government and the people of Nigeria to defeat Boko Haram, to present the donation of these 24 mine-resistant, armor-protected vehicles to the Nigerian Army.
The Defense Minister, represented by Chief of Operations, Defense Headquarters, explained that the vehicles would help protect troops from improvised explosive devices and also help in the movement of men with little or no casualties.
As expeditiously as it possibly can be done, because these are equipments that we require to prosecute the war efforts in the Northeast.
The U.S. government donated the armored vehicles through the SS Defense Articles program. It is designed to help foreign governments fight security challenges.
In a related development, Voice of Nigeria VON has commenced the distribution of transistor radio sets at IDP camps across the country. During a visit to the Area 1 IDP of the FCT, the Director General of Voice of Nigeria said the aim is to keep the internally displaced persons abreast with government programs and policies. Oyoyemi Ajayi has the details.
Bala Yusuf is a 30-year-old graduate from Borno State. The Area 1 IDP camp in Abuja for some time now has been his home following the displacement by Boko Haram in his state. He depends on rumor mills for news about happenings back home. And even this comes in trickles. But that is about to change. He has been empowered by a means of getting information, courtesy this radio from the Voice of Nigeria.
We are proud of peoples of Nigeria because of their support for good kinds as they are thinking of us.
To the Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Bala and others should not be denied first-hand information about the efforts of the military in restoring peace back home.
The good news is that the government, especially our armed forces, our soldiers, is doing everything humanly possible to bring the insurgency to an end.
Among other needs at the camp is health care, which they say is very important to them.
We are pleading Nigeria government to help military, to add military so that they will work hard to get peace to our country so that we are going back to our place.
For the likes of Bala Yusuf and others, there could not be a better way of accessing first-hand information as they anxiously wait for the day they will all return home. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Now talking politics, as Bielsons prepare for the supplementary governorship election, stakeholders say there is need to intensify security on waterways. Fred Owiefie, who monitored activities preparatory to movement of election materials along waterways, say security of lives and property during the election is paramount.
Bayelsa State is 70% riverine. Because of this, most of the materials and INEC personnel and election observers will have to be transported by water for the supplementary governorship election. Maritime workers in Bayelsa State have expressed their preparedness to convey voters and election materials along the waterways. Some of the boat drivers, however, expressed dissatisfaction on the level of security along the waterways and call on the security agencies to do more. They also offered advice on some safety measures that can be applied on election day to enhance safety.
Life jackets are provided to the passengers. Each boat needs security in the boat. Each boat that's going to the election, they need security. Any boat that is going for this election should have the life vest, fire extinguisher, paddle.
The Nigerian Police Bayelsa State Command, in collaboration with other security agencies in the state, have, however, assured Bayelsans of security on the waterways during the election.
The Inspector General of Police has assured us
of adequate logistics in terms of mobilization of gunboats and aerial surveillance. We are going to restrict movement in the entire state from the hours of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on election dates. There will be equally restriction of movement of boats fitted with 200 horsepower and above from Friday 8th January 7 p.m. till Sunday 10th January.
Smooth operation during the election can be enhanced by providing gunboats and adequate personnel to patrol the waterways. In Yanagua, Fred Owefie, NTA News.
And another political group says present administration deserves commendation, not condemnation, on its war against corruption. The Director General, All Progressives Congress Support Group, Comrade Jamilu Yusuf, said this at a press conference in Abuja. Ismail Musa has the details.
Since the inauguration of the APC-led administration in May 2015, Comrade Yusuf stressed that the government have vowed to rid the nation of corruption, a social vice that has for decades hampered the economic development of Nigeria, a nation blessed with abundant human and natural resources.
At this point of our national life, what every meaning Nigerian should be doing is to render support to the anti-graft institution, to enable them to prosecute the war against corruption, and not opposing the fight against those who gang up to share our commonwealth among themselves.
On the allegation that the campaign is targeted at selected people, Comrade Yusuf noted that existing records of those facing various charges has disproved the wrong notion.
If you could remember, way back, this Nyako is from the APC. Colonel Jafaru Isa was also part of the people that EFCC have caught. They are in the EFCC custody by now. And I think these are people from the All Progressive Congress.
While appealing to Nigerians to desist from making unguided statements that are derogative to the president and his office, he enjoined the youth to support the war against corruption. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Talking health, President Muhammadu Buhari will launch the National Health Plan before the end of the month. Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, said this while on NTA's breakfast program, Good Morning Nigeria, which discussed Lassa fever and the state of rural health care in Nigeria. Joy Uzo reports.
The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, who enumerated some of the initiatives in the health sector by the current administration, says they are coming up with a national health plan to improve healthcare delivery in the country.
Well, Mr. President has offered to launch the Gazette that documented the Health Act, and he has also offered to inaugurate formally the steering committee to implement. When is this? Oh, very soon. It's going to be this month.
According to the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, there are about 30,000 primary healthcare centers in Nigeria, which some experts say are inadequate and unevenly distributed. In spite of government's concerted efforts to revamp the health sector, discussants on the program said the delivery of quality primary healthcare services remains a challenge. Among the gaps noted are poor infrastructure, few or no medical equipment, and pharmaceuticals, which makes community members not to access them for their medical needs.
Some political wards in Nigeria have as many as 5-10, while some don't even have any. That is one. Secondly, when even these facilities are there, you have the challenges of human resources availability. In addition, you also have the challenge of commodities being available and then drugs. So when a Nigerian walk into a health facility, if the human resources are not there, the commodities are not there, of course, you don't expect them to go back.
It's just the services that the people need. And when the services are being provided well, and the people know that if I get to this PHC, I will be able to get the quality service that I need, they will be willing to attend.
Lack of, government allowing the traditional rulers to do their bits, and in most cases, there is a disconnect between health personnel and the community themselves, members themselves.
Other areas of concern discussed included legislation to make the National Health Insurance Scheme compulsory for all Nigerians, with suggestions on the need to embrace partnership among interested parties as a way to help revitalize the primary health care centers in Nigeria. In Abuja, Joy.
Now you're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Still to come on the news. Nigeria to spend $300 million on youth agriculture scheme. Details in a moment.
The Nigerian Armed Forces has been there, is there, and will be there for country and citizens. Nigerians, arise now in support and encouragement for our armed forces. Honor our veterans. Remember our fallen heroes, even as we help to take care of those they have left behind. Nigerian Armed Forces Remembrance Day 2016. Date Sunday 10 January 2016. Interdenominational church service. Venue National Christian Center Abuja. Time 12 noon. Wreath laying ceremony Friday 15 January. Time 8:30 a.m. Special guest of honor Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, and Grand Patron, Nigerian Legion. Be part of it. Wear an emblem. Announcer Brigadier General Rabe Abubakar, Chairman, Publicity Subcommittee, Armed Forces Remembrance Day Celebration 2016.
Nigerians, our fearless officers and men of the Nigerian military are winning the war against Boko Haram. Today, all occupied territories have been recovered and Boko Haram has been degraded. Our affected brothers and sisters are getting their lives back. However, they are now after you and me. In our mosques, churches, schools, motor parks, markets, entertainment centers, and public gatherings. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me. Nigeria unite against terrorism.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
More news on NTA International. Housing and transportation are no doubt major challenges facing workers in the Federal Capital Territory. In this report, Adebola Brooksland Sunday takes a look at the plight of workers and plans being put in place by the federal government in tackling these challenges.
Productivity, many agree, is never an accident. It is always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning and focused efforts. But there are two major factors militating against it. Brown Igogori resides in Mararaba, which is about 15 kilometers away from his office.
Coming to the city center, has been a problem since the government put a ban on these green buses. And not only that, even those private cars that are helping civil servants to come, police are even disturbing them.
Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Ekanem Oyoita, agreed that there is a deficit in the housing and transportation sectors.
The issue of transport to acquire some more buses for civil servants. Another thing that we really want to look at is the housing of the staff. We started the program, like I'm sure you're aware, we've inaugurated the Federal Integrated Staff Housing Program, FISH.
Permanent Secretary, Common Services, Yemi Adelakun, is the head of the FISH program.
Understanding your employees' perspectives, experts say, goes a long way towards increasing their productivity and happiness.
If you want the best from workers, you've got to motivate them. We are looking at the epic civil servant. Efficient, productive, innovative, and citizen-centered.
Civil servants again urged the federal government to fulfill all its promises, as this will go a long way towards a better service delivery and a greater Nigeria. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
The federal government of Nigeria is to spend $300 million on youth agriculture scheme. The initiative, which is to be achieved in collaboration with the African Development Bank is to boost the nation's food production and create wealth among the teeming youth of the country. Musa Babaliu has the details.
The federal government and African Development Bank, in collaboration with International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, are planning towards finding a lasting solution to youth unemployment through agriculture. The $300 million project, which will be implemented across the country, is expected to create about 250,000 jobs within 18 months. Under the program, beneficiaries will be trained in all aspects of agricultural production and financial support given to beneficiaries as startup. The officials of the supporting organizations had met with the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development on the takeoff of the project.
We will expect that in the first year, we will be able to reach 12 states plus Abuja, federal capital, and each of them will train 200 young people every year. We believe by the third year, the entire federation will have been covered.
Minister of Agriculture Chief Adu Ogwe disclosed that the project will commence from the 3 federal universities of agriculture in the country.
We are looking at siting processing plants in various villages across: palm oil processing, palm kernel cracking, palm kernel oil processing, rice milling, small rice mills, 2 tons, 3 tons a day, 4 tons, groundnut oil processing in villages, fish smoking along the waterfronts where they smoke fish.
The minister therefore tasked IITA to intensify efforts towards researching into the conversion of cassava leaves into animal feeds and other usage. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And now Obiagelu Goke is standing by for reports on the world of business.
Signs of life have returned to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation refineries as daily output at its 4 refineries had reached 6.7 million liters of premium motor spirit (PMS) per day. Latest report from the corporation shows that this output would be boosted to 10.0 million per day by the end of this month. An agro expert at the Africa Rice Center, Chijoko Suji, has said that the federal government is working hard to facilitate the export of food in 2016. Mr. Suji said since the federal government is targeting revenue from non-oil sectors, food commodity exports will be given a lot of attention. And in China, shares have risen while European markets have opened higher at the end of what has been a torrid first week of the year. Trading in the markets was twice halted by a circuit breaker before the authority decided to suspend the measure. The Shanghai Composite closed 2% higher on Friday, but still ended the week down by about 10%. In London, the FTSE 100 was up 55.4 points at 6,009.4. In Frankfurt, the DAX was up 1.0%, while the CAC 40 in Paris was up 0.3%. Obiageli Ugoke, NTA News.
For stories trending on the foreign scene, here is Basi Taikbang.
The 24-chapter, 206-page book, David Marsh, Managing Director and Co-founder, Official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum, says was assembled by Jean-Claude Bastos de Moraes, an Angolan Swiss investor and entrepreneur, with a team of 31 authors from 15 nations, which gives a wide-ranging account of Africa's kaleidoscopic reality in agriculture, emerging capital markets, mining, and in new forms such as manufacturing, music, fashion, among others.
At a time when risks elsewhere have been growing, whether in China, Europe, or Latin America, this book spells out how, for once, Africa could be a winner.
The book, praised by Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President, African Development Bank, and others, also looks at corruption, disease, and conflict in the continent. A young and dynamic population is a minimal risk for investors. A conclusion that Nigeria's acting High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Ada Simon Oga, appreciates and agrees with.
We want to actually see you continue to do the job promoting Nigeria. And if there's any way, like you said, we have to collaborate through our own department here. We are very willing, always willing to work with you.
In London, Bilkisu Abdurazak Oduoye, NTA News.
That report was Bilkisu Abdurazak Oduoye from London and not Obiangelu Goke. But it was still foreign. Let's take on the foreign news now with Obiangelu Goke.
The Syrian government has allowed humanitarian workers access to an opposition-held town near the border of Lebanon. This follows the report that people are starving to death in the freezing cold weather. Residents of Madaya, about 25 kilometers northwest of Damascus, are suffering from severe malnutrition and have little access to medical supplies because of the siege by the government since July 2015. The United Nations, in a statement, has also indicated interest to deliver humanitarian assistance in the coming days to besieged town Idlib that has been cut off by the rebels in the province. In another